Hi guys, this is Andre, Horizon City News. I want to do a little update about the case with Oscar Solis. And back in February, Oscar Solis had an incident where he killed somebody while driving intoxicated. That's what he's accused of doing. There was a high school student, I believe he was a senior, who was killed by Oscar Solis here in Horizon City, Texas. And he has a jury trial coming up on April 14th, 2025 at 9 a.m. The judge's name is William E. Moody. And I believe that's a very famous judge here in El Paso County. I think he's one of the longest sitting judges in the county. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but that name sounds very familiar. I believe that's one of the most famous judges in El Paso County, Texas. And Oscar Solis is being charged with murder for killing the high school student when he was driving intoxicated here in Horizon City, Texas, about 6 months ago, back in February 2024. And like I said, he has a jury trial coming up on April 14th, 2025. He's out on bond, as far as I know. I checked the bond records, and he posted bond. I believe it was for a total amount of $160,000. But of course, you either pay a portion of that or you put up property. So it's not a capital crime. It's not a capital offense. So even though it's a serious crime, obviously it's extremely serious crime, he was still able to post bond. So from what I could see in the bond records, he's not currently in jail while he waits for trial. He's free on bond. I'm not sure what the bond conditions are for his, this serious crime, but from what I could see from the bond records and the jail records and court records, Mr. Solis is not in jail while he waits for trial. So this is a very emotionally charged crime here in Horizon City, Texas, because, anybody being killed by a drunk driver is always going to be emotionally charged, but especially this particular incident was really sending the whole town and the whole metro area here in general into a lot of mourning, because the person who got killed was so young, and he had his whole life ahead of him. And the individual here who's been accused of killing the young high school student, he's been arrested in the past for driving while intoxicated on more than one occasion. So when he killed this high school student, it was like a big red flag that he had not learned his lesson from his previous arrests and convictions for driving while intoxicated. So, like I said, this is just an update to the incident that happened back in February of 2024 here in Horizon City, Texas, where a high school student was killed by a man named Oscar Solis, and he was arrested by the Horizon City, Texas Police Department. And I'll let you guys know of any other information that I come across. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down in the description box below. And thank you for watching Horizon City News. I'll be in touch. I'm on Facebook if anybody wants to reach out to me there. And my email address is also down there in the description box. You can also text me. I got my number in the description box as well. 915-781-4330. Thanks for watching Horizon City News.
So first off, thank you all for joining us today. I know it's kind of a short notice, but thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us for this press conference. We want to start off with offering our deepest condolences to the family of Miguel Angel Romero. He was a student at Horizon High School who unfortunately lost his life in yesterday's incident. One of our main goals at our police department is to always maintain the public and the community's safety. I ask that you please hold off on all questions until we are done presenting, and then we have all the facts gathered. Yesterday, Wednesday, February 7th, at 5:54 p.m., our officers responded to the intersection of Darrington and Pauling in reference to a motor vehicle accident involving a single vehicle and a pedestrian. The 17-year-old victim, Miguel Angel Romero, was transported to the Sol Medical Center, where unfortunately he did succumb to his injuries. HCPD's Special Traffic Investigation Team was called to further investigate the nature of the call. Investigators were informed by witnesses that a red Ford F-150 had struck Mr. Romero and fled the scene. At approximately 7:50, our officers were able to locate the vehicle within Horizon City jurisdiction. Mr. Oscar Solis, with a date of birth of July 7th, 1969, was arrested and transported to the El Paso County Detention Center, where he is facing charges for intoxication manslaughter and collision causing death. The bond for those two charges are $120,000. Oscar Solis does have 2 previous convictions for driving while intoxicated for the years of 2003 and 2021. We also want to take the time to thank the community for all of their help, and to the witnesses who stayed to render aid and provide all the information available at the time. We mourn for the family, as they are in our thoughts and prayers, and for the loss of the life of this young man. At this time, we'll open it up for questions.
Do we know what, I guess, surrounding how this happened, or obviously we know it was a hit and run, if you would say, better lack of words, but do we know why Mr. Romero was there, or do we kind of know anything like that?
The nature of the call was that a vehicle who was traveling on Pauling turned left onto Darrington, which is going down that way, and at that time is whenever Mr. Romero was struck by the vehicle.
Was he crossing the street?
As to what the witnesses stated, he was crossing the street at that time.
Do you have the age of the victim?
17 years old.
So he wasn't using the crosswalk,
He was using the crosswalk to get, it's right there at the gas station on Pauling and Darrington, and there's a pedestrian crosswalk.
Was he in the right of way? Was the walk sign on, or was it?
We do not have that information. Like I said, it's still under investigation. So once we do get more details, we will be releasing that. But as of right now, I don't have that information.
Do you know if Solis does he live here in Horizon City?
He is a resident within our jurisdiction, yes.
Did you all conduct like a breathalyzer test? I don't know if you could provide the results of that.
I cannot, just because it's still part of the investigation. I can't get ahead of myself and give any details that might affect what we're doing as of right now.
So what would you all say you all are doing as an agency? I'm very familiar with this area. I live nearby. I've seen a lot of crashes. Last year there was the deputy who was involved in a crash. What would you say you all are doing to kind of alleviate or prevent any accidents like these from happening?
Well, we always try to be proactive. We don't want to wait till tragedy strikes for us to go ahead and do something. So our officers are always patrolling the streets. And it's a lot of things that entail what we do. As we're patrolling the streets, we're also looking out for the neighborhoods. We're also responding to calls, and we're out there as much as we can. We don't want to be the type of police department that's always reactive. We want to be proactive. We have a motor unit that's out there in warnings at the busy intersections. We have our patrol officers from Graveyard and from our second shift that are out there monitoring traffic to ensure that we do have abiding drivers to the speed limits and to the traffic signs.
Do we know if the driver had a suspended license?
I do not have that information also.
Can you provide any information on like what his state was when you all met him? Did he understand what he had done?
I wasn't there for the part as when he was arrested, so I wouldn't be able to comment on that.
There's a lot of areas in Horizon City that are really dark, especially out there towards Aguadulce, even by the high school at night. Is there any plans that you know of through City Council of installing more lights in the future?
So Horizon Boulevard itself doesn't belong to us. It belongs to TxDOT. So we don't know all of the plans that they have in store. Also, our jurisdiction is kind of fairly small. Our jurisdiction is about 9 square miles. A lot of people think that we extend from the freeway all the way to the Aguas, but we're actually a smaller jurisdiction. For Horizon Boulevard itself, I know they've been installing lights as time goes by. We see the medians that are being put up. So they are working on Horizon Boulevard itself as to what the end plan to see how they're going to finish the project. I don't have that information.
Can you talk about if drunk driving is a problem here within Horizon?
I think drunk driving should be just seen as a problem everywhere. Even if you have 1 call a year that we respond to, or 100, and that's part of what we do here in our department. Is we're out there and we're conducting traffic stops to ensure both that the traffic laws are being followed, but also to ensure that the drivers have driver's licenses, to make sure that they have a suspended driver's license, that they aren't driving while intoxicated. So I can't say that it is or is not a problem, but it's not something that's taken lightly, and we always do what we have to do whenever we face that.
Mr. Solis also had some previous charges. He's also had another DWI previously. So are you able to comment on that? I know other people have already gotten word of it, and they have tons of things to say. So can you, as a department, talk about that?
The convictions weren't done by our department, so I can't speak to the investigation, what the convictions resulted in being, or as to why it's all the nature of those calls. But I can say that we always trust for our drivers to look for something else other than getting behind the wheel once they've been drinking. We have so many things that are out there for people to avoid this kind of tragedy to happen. We have Uber, we have Lyfts. You can ask for a ride, you know what I mean? I know that there's programs that are still in place right now by Uber where you can get a free Uber ride by letting them know, and it's free of charge. So there really is no excuse at this point in time with all of the options that we have.
I guess would it be normal for you all to kind of go through this investigation and find Mr. Solis within 2 hours of the actual accident?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
You all were able to track down Mr. Solis within 2 hours. Is that kind of your normal response time for an investigation like this, or?
It's a case-by-case scenario. I can't say that we're always swift to find out exactly what happened. Some take longer than others. Fortunately, we did have witnesses that were able to kind of guide us as to where the truck went, what the description of the vehicle, and it's the second time, and with other things, they've been able to help us out in being able to find someone that we're looking for.
And you said you found Mr. Solis in Horizon jurisdiction. Where exactly?
I wouldn't feel comfortable with giving that information, but he was within our jurisdiction. Our officers were able to locate him within our jurisdiction, and that's where they effected the arrest.
Any other message for hit and run drivers? I know this isn't the first time it's happened in Horizon. I remember last year with the cyclist, and there was 2 hit and run drivers. Just the fact, stay and try to render aid.
It's required by law that at any time that you're involved in a vehicle, motor vehicle accident, you do stop and make sure that both occupants of the vehicle are safe, and that if any aid is needed, that you do render it. That's the reason for the second charge for the collision causing death, was for the fact that no aid was rendered.
Is there anything else maybe that we didn't ask you or that you would like to mention?
We just want to stress to the people from our city, or the people from El Paso, we're here to serve you all. We're here to keep everybody safe, and we hope that we can prevent this from happening again. And we want to thank the agencies that helped us out with this investigation, that are currently helping us with this investigation, for always being there for whenever we need help.
What agencies are those?
We have the El Paso County Sheriff's Office that is assisting us at this time.
All right, I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure, not a problem.
Dar su nombre completo y su posición aquí en Horizon
Soy el
PD.
oficial Eli Sierra y soy el oficial de información pública para el departamento. Mi nombre se letrea H-E-L-I, apellido S-I-E-R-R-A.
Perfecto. Oficial, ¿nos podría explicar qué fue lo que pasó ayer en la intersección de las calles Starrington y Pauling, por favor?
Ayer a las 5:54 de la tarde, nuestros oficiales respondieron a una llamada acerca de un accidente de vehículo contra un peatón. Al responder, nuestros oficiales observaron que era una víctima de 17 años y a causa de sus heridas terminó por fallecer. El nombre de ese individuo es o de la víctima, en verdad, es Miguel Ángel Romero y era un estudiante en la escuela de Horizon High School.
¿Qué fue lo que pasó después? Sabemos que el conductor huyó. ¿Cómo identificaron al conductor y cómo es de que sus oficiales llegaron con él?
Gracias a nuestra comunidad y la ayuda que nos dieron, aparte de que también estuvieron allí como testigos del accidente, pudieron darnos la información suficiente para poder dar con el vehículo, lo cual fue localizada aquí dentro de nuestra jurisdicción.
¿Cuál es el nombre del individuo y qué cargos tiene el individuo que ocasionó este accidente?
El nombre del individuo es Oscar Solís, fecha de nacimiento julio 7, 1969, y los cargos que ahorita está enfrentando son de homicidio involuntario bajo intoxicación con una fianza de $100,000 y colisión causando la muerte con una fianza de $20,000. También nos hemos dado cuenta y al tener nuestra investigación que el señor Solís ya tenía 2 convicciones previas en el año 2003 y en el año 2021.
¿Qué pasa cuando alguien tiene un accidente? ¿Qué es lo que tiene que hacer tanto, bueno, obviamente la víctima que está involucrada, pero qué tiene que hacer el conductor que ocasionó los accidentes?
Es requerido por el estado de Texas que en cualquier situación de un accidente se tiene que asegurar de que los 2 conductores de los vehículos y los pasajeros se encuentren a salvo, y si hay alguna herida que se le dé la ayuda apropiada, ya sea por llamando a una ambulancia, llamando a la policía, y es parte de la razón por la cual hay un segundo cargo contra el señor Solís por el hecho de que se dio la fuga y no se quedó en la escena para la situación.
¿Qué recomendaciones le tiene a los conductores? Primero que nada, bueno, no a los conductores, sino a las personas que van a salir a tomar. ¿Qué le tiene que decir a esas personas?
Hay demasiadas opciones para manejar ebrio. Hay muchas soluciones, hay opciones. Tenemos Uber, tenemos Lyft, familiares que nos pueden dar un ride, un aventón. Simplemente hay demasiadas cosas que podemos hacer para prevenir este tipo de tragedia.
¿Y qué está haciendo el departamento de policía de Horizon para evitar este tipo de accidentes y para así evitar poner a más miembros de la comunidad en riesgo?
Nuestros oficiales siempre están activamente patrullando las calles, ya sea durante horarios donde hay mucho tráfico o simplemente durante la noche para asegurarse que los vecindarios estén a salvo. El hecho de que esto haya pasado no es algo que va a causar que nosotros empecemos a patrullar las calles más, es simplemente algo que ya estamos haciendo. Desafortunadamente, el conductor del vehículo, el señor Solís, decidió manejar ebrio y causar esa tragedia.
El muchacho tenía 17 años y murió de sus heridas. ¿Murió en la escena o en el hospital?
Él falleció en el hospital.
Ok.
¿Listo?
Bien. Good.
Perfect.
Muy bien.
Sí, es que ya sabes, las entrevistas en inglés y no repetir.
En este crimen de la semana, Crime Stoppers y la policía del Paso buscan identificar a las personas involucradas en un tiroteo fatal afuera de un restaurant-bar en el lado oeste de la ciudad.
El domingo 15 de octubre a las 1:54 a.m., una disputa que inició dentro del Jaguar Restaurant Bar escaló a un pleito físico afuera. Durante el pleito, alguien sacó una pistola y disparó varias veces. Un hombre de 17 años de edad y uno de 18 años de edad fueron heridos. Rosario González, de 21 años de edad, también fue lesionada y trasladada a un hospital, pero no sobrevivió sus heridas. Investigadores saben de que alguien tiene información de las personas responsables por el homicidio de Rosario González.
Cualquier persona con información sobre ese homicidio debe de llamar a Crime Stoppers del Paso al 566-8477, 566-TIPS. In this Crime of the Week, Crime Stoppers in the El Paso Police Department are looking to identify individuals involved in a fatal shooting outside of a restaurant bar in West El Paso.
On Sunday, October 15th at 1:54 a.m., an argument that began inside of the El Jaguar Restaurant Bar escalated into a physical fight outside. During the fight, a handgun was produced and multiple shots were fired. A 17-year-old and an 18-year-old male were wounded. 21-year-old Rosario Gonzalez was also wounded and taken to the hospital, but did not survive. Investigators know that someone has information on the individuals responsible for the shooting death of Rosario Gonzalez.
Anyone with any information on this murder should call Crime Stoppers of El Paso at 566-8477. That's 566-TIPS.